think it's really important to remember that insurance companies are a business and they would not be doing this if they were not making money. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I am your host, Dr. Marie Barter, and today what we are talking about is maybe how the insurance company is making more profit than you realize and how maybe they might not be your best friend. I'm going to give you a fundamental question to ask so that you actually know if you're getting the best deal. If you like what we're talking about, if you learned something on this video, please be sure to give us a thumbs up and comment below to say hello and tell us what you like and you want to hear more of. We love your support. So one of the most important issues that people don't realize is that insurance is not quite what they expect it to be. Maybe not what it's completely cracked up to be. The understanding that people have insurance is that they believe that they're getting the best deal around because the insurance company has negotiated it for you, or the insurance company is paying. I completely understand that, and I understand why that's the case. What I see over and over again are challenges related to insurance. So let's say you submit a claim to your insurance. The immediate response a lot of times is to deny your claim. They do this for a couple reasons. Number one is that a lot of people don't try again. And so let's be honest, that money starts to add up. And the second reason is because that extra time allows them to reinvest the money and accumulate interest on your money. I think it's really important to remember that insurance companies are a business and they would not be doing this if they were not making money. So please make sure to keep that in mind. So I've had a couple of run-ins with insurance companies in my own life, and I definitely know the game. First example in my own life is when I went to go get an MRI. You would think that since my doctor recommended it, it would be a simple process. Trauma, continued pain, treatment failed, perfect recipe for needing an MRI to figure out what's going on. So the order was put in, and that was what my doctor decided the next step was. And what happens? The insurance company denied it. They said that they needed more info. They wanted to look at chart notes, which is understandable. And so when they look at the chart notes, they see that conservative treatment has failed, continued worsening condition, and they said they needed more information. And what that meant was they actually needed an x-ray first. This is kind of the game you play. They have a litany of tests that you need to run first. So I tried to explain to them that the x-ray wouldn't show anything, that the damage was probably ligamentous. They said before we pay for an MRI, we need this. And this is important to note, because the x-ray will show nothing. But, this is the game that they play, so let's go ahead and do this. So I followed the rules. I went in, I got the x-ray, and again, it showed an increase in what we call joint spacing. So the radiologist's recommendation was to go get an MRI. That took another 2 months from where I was. So we are at a total of 4 months trying to get imaging and approvals and authorizations through insurance. So finally on this beautiful sunny day, I got pre-approved for an MRI. The imaging company called me and said, hello, you're pre-approved. So I go down there and I basically, fill out my paperwork at the front desk, and they hand me an EOB, or an estimate of benefits. And in the estimate of benefits, it says that the insurance company is heroically paying $2,000 for my MRI, and I was responsible for $547. Most people would look at this and say, wow, the insurance company is really looking out for me. They're really doing me a favor because this MRI is so expensive. I, on the other hand, I was super irritated by that EOB. Why? Because the initial response that the insurance company is looking out for me couldn't be more wrong. Why? Because there's a fundamental question that you need to ask. And the question is, what is a cash price for an MRI? Okay, so let me recap. I've been jumping through hoops for months trying to get this thing pre-approved. What if this were cancer? What if this was something that was actually life-threatening? Because that can make the difference in a treatment, okay? I get to the facility where I've been pre-approved, and the insurance company is paying $2,000 for an MRI. Supposedly, that's what an MRI costs. Okay, so I'm currently responsible for $547 of this MRI. And I'm upset because I know that the cash price of an MRI is going to be around $400 to $450, okay? This is without contrast, okay? Over $100 less than what I'm being quoted. I walk up to the front desk and I say, what is the cash price of the MRI? She said, I'm so glad you asked, because otherwise I couldn't tell you. The cost price for our MRI here is $450. Bottom line is that you're getting ripped off if you're paying $547 versus a cash price of $450. And so the question is always, what would this cost if we take the insurance out of it, or what is the cash price of this? So I had to pay $60 for an x-ray I knew that I didn't need, and then I'm effectively charged $100 over the cash price, waited 4 months to get me an MRI that was more expensive than if I just walked in willy-nilly and got it. So why bother? When I get home and I tell Stephen what happened, he said, how did you know how much an MRI costs? I would have happily paid it and had no idea what the cash price was. The front desk lady at the imaging place said, you do not understand how heartbreaking it is to watch somebody on a fixed income getting gouged, and I can literally say nothing. I wanted to do this podcast and this YouTube video because I know that that's not common knowledge, and I educate on prices day in and day out in practice. Another example I have is we run comprehensive blood panels in our practice. It costs us about $250, and the list of what we run is expansive. And a patient of mine wanted to go and try to get these labs run through her primary care. And so she needed 2 of, the 80 markers run that needed to be run. It was something with her thyroid. It was called TPO and thyroid antibodies. Effectively, these tests should be about total $40. $40. So she went to her primary care and she got these tests run by her MD that showed up positive. They were positive for autoimmune to her thyroid gland. She got a bill from her health insurance and from her primary care that was $2,000 when the sum total of the tests is exactly $40. And I have example after example after example of this. So it is imperative to ask, what do things cost? If you call these lab testing companies, they will tell you what it costs. You should be upfront. Anywhere you go should be upfront with pricing so there are no surprises. And I mean, we get people that call us day in and day out about what things cost, and that is totally fine because you do not want to be saddled with a $2,000 bill because we know that these things are a business, and we know that insurance companies are making record profits, and they can be overcharging you. It can happen, and they can be undercutting facilities. So if you've had a great experience with insurance, I think that's wonderful. But the take-home message is to know what it costs out of pocket if insurance doesn't cover it. What is the cash price? And is it different if you go through insurance or if you don't go through insurance? So I just want to make sure that you are in the know, okay? I'm so grateful that you guys are watching, and I love empowering you guys with knowledge and information. So if you love what we're talking about and you want more information, please subscribe, and remember, comment below to say hello and let us know what you want to hear more of. We love hearing from you. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.